map, when the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia crosses into Maryland, they're not going to do this unobserved.
Correct.
The Union Army has signal stations spread out in a multitude of places along the Potomac River, taking advantage of high ground, trying to basically make sure they can see what they need to see when they need to see it. So tell our viewers a little bit about where we're driving through right now and what the significance is in relation to the Maryland Campaign of '62.
What we are currently climbing up is Sugarloaf Mountain, which is actually the hub of a network of signal stations spread out across southern Maryland along the Potomac and, of course, even into northern Virginia. It would be Sugarloaf Mountain that would get the first indications of the Confederate crossing on September 4th, and they are going to be the ones who put the word out to Washington that there is trouble a-brewing and Confederates are moving into Maryland in force.
Now, is there just a flag signal station up here, or are there wires ascending Sugarloaf Mountain?
No, this is a signal corps station. So this is going to be your semaphore flags during the day, or the lanterns or torches at night.
Right. So they're not lighting the beacons of Gondor?
No, but it does kind of have that feel because everybody's up on the high ground watching and they're sending the information that they're hearing, much like that.
You always know I got to bring the Lord of the Rings into whatever we're talking about. Another interesting tidbit from history relating to the Civil War, I guess not directly to the Civil War, but relating to where we have been along our journey in the Maryland Campaign and where we're currently at, is the Monocacy Aqueduct that John G. Walker and earlier D.H. Hill are tasked with destroying was actually built out of stone, blasted off of one of the faces here of Sugarloaf Mountain. So if you were driving along modern-day Route 28 between Dickerson, Maryland, and Buckystown, just outside of Frederick, Maryland, you'll notice there's a bald or a bare patch, missing trees in one section of the mountain right near the top, and that's actually the blast zone. That little bald spot is where you will see remnants of the quarry work, the blasting that was done to chip away some of that stone and to build the aqueduct later. So very neat way to tie all of that together. And as you can see on our short drive here, I don't even think we're halfway up this mountain yet. So Union troops up here must have had a heck of a time, but it changes hands a few times up here, doesn't it?
It does.
We have a back and forth, right?
It's a very small signal station. What's going to happen is that Confederate forces moving into Maryland initially do not go after Sugarloaf, but they pretty quickly realize that there are federal troops up there, and the signal station at Sugarloaf will be evacuated. Now, as these Signal Corps officers and supporting staff are coming off of the mountain, they will actually capture a Confederate courier that has some of the orders and movements for the initial Confederate incursion, such as Stuart's cavalry, with him. Well, they're going to gobble him up. That's quite the find, and they're going to start heading for Washington. Now, unfortunately for them, they're not going to have this guy very long because here comes Stuart's cavalry, which then recapture their guy and obviously release him and capture the little squad of Signal Corps guys. There's actually a really interesting back and forth between the officer that is captured here and Jeb Stuart himself. Apparently this guy was quite concerned that he might be in some real trouble, but he is going to be treated, he would later write, very cordially by the Confederate cavalry commander.
So it's interesting. Jeb Stuart is seemingly the Carmen Sandiego of Maryland. He is everywhere, all at once. No one knows where he is, and things like that. So what I would ask is, definitively, is this Sugarloaf region one of the areas he has definitely been to in person? Is he actually here, or is the guy that he is discussing this matter with now somewhere else and they're no longer in the vicinity of Sugarloaf?
No, he's definitely here. He's near the base of it. I don't believe he ever came up to the top of Sugarloaf, but he is definitely here.
Because you will see evidence that Jeb Stuart's cavalry is basically everywhere all at once, both in '62 and especially in 1863, when they are preceding the Gettysburg campaign, things like that. So just wanted to clarify, because I always laugh, for those old enough to remember Carmen Sandiego, he seems to be that in 1862.
Well, and we've just moved on towards the western view off of Sugarloaf Mountain. We're going to be heading for that area. Towards the view that the actual signal stations would have had. what's interesting is that as we've been driving along the mountain here, I don't know if those at home have noticed, but this is all young trees through here. So most of Sugarloaf was bare in 1862. There was not all of these trees on it like we have today. Now, on September 4th and 5th of 1862, we're actually going to have federal forces right up here. Not a lot of them. This is going to be a signal station used by the Signal Corps of the United States Army, and they will be the first folks to actually see the Confederate crossing down on the Potomac River near White's Ford, moving up into Frederick, Maryland. Now, today we've got a lot more trees on Sugarloaf. These are much younger trees, were not here during the American Civil War, and the signal station up here would have had a clear view into the valley and also back to the river.